What's poppin' T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade, Raising Kanan Season 1, Episode 5 review. I want to remind you guys to subscribe to my backup channel. The link is down below in the description box. I will be eventually putting content on that channel, but please subscribe to that channel because a lot of black content creators channels have been deleted. So subscribe to my backup channel, please. Also, this Friday to Tuesday, there will not be any reviews up because I will be on vacation for my 40th birthday. My cash app is down below if you want to cash app me a little something something because it's a special birthday. I mean, treat your girl, why not? But anywho, I'll be out of town on vacation. I'll be doing some vlogging on the trip so you guys can see where I went. I'm going to Scottsdale, Arizona with the fam and friends. Cannot wait. We have a dope ass mini mansion and everything. It's gonna be so much fun. But the reviews for Raising Kanan, Love and Marriage Huntsville, and Potomac will then be up when I return from my trip. So you will get the reviews. It'll just be late. Anywho, so on tonight's episode of Raising Kanan, we see him getting prepared for school. He picking out his outfit. You know how that was going to school. You had to make sure everything was on point. So he ends up switching into his Air Force Ones. But when he looks down, he sees some drops of blood on it from the incident that happened at the stash house. And he wipes it off or whatever. And he looking like, damn, like I was actually involved in some shit. So then he goes downstairs to eat breakfast, but lo and behold, Rock, his mama, is sitting at the table with the bloody shirt. And he looking like, God damn, like how she find the shit. And I'm like, why didn't you dispose of it? Like, why would you just keep it hidden under your bed this whole time? You dummy, but you want to be involved in everything, but you don't even know how to maneuver shit. So Rock was like, I left it thinking you would tell me, you were with your uncle at the stash house. He told me he just left you being there out or whatever. So she playing mind games, and Marvin, lo and behold, ain't even told her nothing. So she just, you know how you tell somebody a lie to get them to tell the truth, and that's exactly what she did to make him think that she already knew what was up. So of course he ended up taking the bait, but he was like, I was there to get money. Scrap owe me. She know he lying and tells him, I know your black ass is the fuck lying, but I ain't even got time to deal with you right now. Go on and get your little Wheaties for breakfast so I can get your ass on to school or whatever. But Kanan did not snitch on his uncle Marvin. So she realizing at this point that I am raising a son of a gun here. Like this little nigga is all the way off. Like I can't control him. I can't rear him in. Like shit is going on that is even out of my control. So then we switch to Howard and Burke investigating the stash house after neighbors said there was a loud crash outside and they heard gunshots. They don't have anything to they don't find any like significant evidence, so they end up leaving. So Rock confronts Marvin about leaving shit out of the story about what happened at the stash house incident. This nigga get to acting like he Soldier Boy, talking about I was busting on them niggas. I was on some that type shit. Booka booka booka. It was like 9 niggas, and it was just me. And then SWAT came in. Like he got this whole elaborate ass story. And they looking at him like, nigga, really? So Rock was like, no, nigga, I know the fact that you left out my son was there, and uh he realized, God damn, like I'm caught. So Lou looking at this nigga like, really, nigga, like you just always fucking up some shit. So Marvin says that he was waiting. No, I'm sorry. Rock says that she was waiting on him to confess and that Kanan didn't snitch on him. Marvin then get mad when she get to talking about him to Lou like this nigga ain't even sitting there. And it has to be hard for him being the oldest. And not only is my sister my boss, but then she pays more respect to the youngest sibling, Lou, than me. Like they both ice me out like I'm just some dummy. So that got to be very hard for him to deal with as the oldest sibling and as a man in general. So Rock was like to Lou, I need to know what's going on in Neek's head. We ain't going to war, but we ain't laying down neither. Rock is a very calm, calculated person. She plays chess, not checkers. She knows that this is the long game. It's not anything that needs to be rushed, and she has to be smart and methodical with everything that she does. So Mara was like, "What about the rap we need to smoke out?" Rock says, "I'm on this, so don't do nothing stupid." Like him and Kanan are a lot alike. They just run off of impulse and don't think ahead. So Rock ended up leaving pissed the fuck off. And Lou was like, "You just can't help but fuck up, can you? Like, you are just such a fucking disappointment." And I just melted because I just love me some Lou. Like, I just want to take my clothes off for him. Anywho, so then we see Symphony in class talking to Kanan after the class is let out. Kanan says, "I actually fuck with this class. I actually like it or whatever. They had to do this assignment on some bridge or whatever." So Symphony ends up teaching him about the bridge and how it was made to keep white people from being around black people or some shit. And Kanan was like, "This nigga always teaching, but I like that about him." And I know some of you think that Sharif's character, I mean Sharif's, Lord Jesus, that Symphony's character is an undercover cop or he's working with the feds or some shit like that. I don't get that from him at all. I really think that they concocted his character to be a lot like Sharif from Menace to Society, where he's just a black guy that is righteous, that knows a lot about, his people, and he just wants the best for everyone. And like I said, I really believe that at some point, Rock's lifestyle and the things that she's doing is going to end up causing him harm. And he's a really good dude, much like how it was for Sharif. Wrong place, wrong time. He was trying to get out, do something for himself, and end up getting killed. So I think that, like I said, Symphony's character is a lot like Sharif from Menace to Society. So he ends up giving Kanan his number if he ever needs anything. And so Kanan was like, "You really like my mom, don't you?" He was like, "I do." And Kanan was like, "That's cool." So they're building this rapport with one another where Kanan is seeing like, dude ain't so bad after all. Like he ain't just out to fuck over my mama, and he's knowledgeable. He actually give a fuck. Like, okay, I could fuck with this dude. And I really like that they're building like this little family amongst Symphony and Kanan and Rock. So Marvin and Lou leaving the crib and they having a conversation. They kind of like going back and forth. And Marvin says that he don't like that Rock be keeping all these secrets and questions why she even gonna have them in the projects. Because remember on last week's episode, she went over there and told Darius the guy that runs the building, that she need two apartments on top of each other. So he like, we tried to make it out of the project. She trying to take us back. Lou was like, "You ever wonder if you kept better secrets back in the day, you wouldn't have done that bid." So Marvin was like, "I was set up." And Lou was like, "No, you did it to yourself, nigga, like you always do when you're doing it now, except it ain't just you. And I ain't down to going to jail for your stupid ass, nigga." So once again, Marvin is the fuck up. And like I said, it has to play a lot on his ego and his mind frame. So Marvin was like, "You always stepping and fetching," basically calling Lou a kiss ass. Lou was like, "I handle my business. Maybe that's something that you need to think about." Marvin was like, "Your business ain't about shit, nigga, fake ass Quincy Jones." And at that point, it was like the record stopped playing, it scratched. Lou was looking like, "I know this nigga lying. I know the fuck he didn't go there." And he turned around and looked at that nigga like, "Oh, word, that's where we going now? Are we really going? We throwing low blows now, my nigga?" So Marvin was like, "I know all about you and Crown Camacho. Heard you on the phone talking with Famous. Seemed like the only song you gonna be singing is that Porter Rock nigga, fuck my bitch." And I was like, "Ooh, you gonna take that, my nigga? You gonna take that? Because he just went there." That was so disrespectful, but it was slightly true because Jessica is a whore. She's a whore. She's out for herself, and she looks at Lou's character as a means to an end. It's an opportunity for her to get closer to her getting the bag and being whatever. So Lou says, "You got a song too. That New York Nick nigga fucked my baby mama, then turned her out to the whole goddamn league." So now we got some context clues on where Juke's mama is. So apparently Juke's mama fucked the New York Knicks basketball player, and then he ended up turning her ass out to the rest of the goddamn league. So I don't know if mama got on some drugs or she was just a hoe, but the mama was turned out. They didn't mention her being dead or no shit like that. So basically, they both, Marvin and Lou, got something in common where they both fell in love with some horse. So Marvin ends up pushing the shit out of Lou, and then they start fighting like 2 10-year-olds. That fight was so weak. They should have choreographed that fight better. It was like two little kids fighting on the playground. Wasn't no punches really being thrown except for body shots. It was just a weak ass fight. I really didn't like the fight choreography. They could have did better. So the police end up riding by and was like, y'all better stop or whatever. So they end up breaking it up. They huffing and puffing, and Lou was like, you ain't shit and you ain't gonna never be shit. And there's a lot of animosity going on between these two brothers. Lou gets up to leave, and Marvin was like about to go nurse on his sister's titty, and Lou was like, "If I'm on the right, your bitch ass is on the left, my nigga. Like, if I'm a titty sucking ass motherfucker, your ass is right along with me because we both work for her ass." Marvin was like, "Fuck you." I really like that scene though. I really like the acting that was going on between the guys that play Marvin and Lou. They really played off each other well. Like I said, that fight scene though was whack as hell. So Howard ends up going to the doctor and learns that his cousin isn't a match for a bone marrow transplant. He's sick, he's dying. The doctor was like, you need to make better lifestyle choices, including not smoking, eating better. Howard was like, so basically, am I on some get my affairs in order type shit? And the doctor was like, if we can't find a match, then that's how things is looking. So he has secrets himself that, his health is declining. So Kanan, Jukebox, and Famous at the bodega, and the little poppy at the store is telling it Famous to stop reading for free. Like, get y'all ass the fuck out of here. So they get to talking about girls and shit, and Jukebox get to bragging about knowing girls better than Famous or any other nigga, but she does not come out and outright say to Famous that she is gay. Now Kanan knows, but nobody else knows at this point. So they was like, oh well, Famous was like, how you know? And she was like, I actually been seeing somebody. And he get mad because in his mind he thought that he was gonna be her first. So they going back and forth. Kanan walks over to the cashier, and mind you, the wife is standing there. The wife is silent but deadly because that bitch hears and sees everything, and she fades into the background because she's so meek, which is actually a bad thing for people because she's listening to everything that's going on around her, and she got all the tea. So Juke was like, still no idea on who ratted out the spot. Kanan was like, I got my suspicions. Juke says, you might not want to hear this, but I can't help but think your girl had a hand in it. And right then and there, that's when we see how much more smarter Juke is than Kanan. And he always said how, she wasn't no joke. She was harder than any nigga. Like, she knew how to get down. And we see how they weren't really on the same mental level when it came to this street shit. So Famous was like, Juke just said Davina a fucking rat, all loud and shit. Mind you, the lady standing right there listening to everything. And that conversation is going to come back into play in a different episode. Mark my words. I don't know if the lady gonna end up giving Davina a heads up that they think that she snitched, but that conversation in front of that Puerto Rican lady gonna come back into play. So Kanan leaves out the store mad because, of course, he does not want to believe that Davina would do something like that to him because she has been his dream girl this whole time. So Juke runs after him, was like, she was with Buck, she got connects to Neek, and she rolled through the spot. Kanan was like, nigga, she didn't know what the fuck it was. I didn't invite her in. I'm like, little boy, like, put two and two together. She's not dumb. She would know it's a stash house. Like, ugh. So he was like, Scrappy gave this shit up. He thinks I'm taking his fucking spot and showed up with new Jordans. I'm going to handle him. That's me. Back then you had some Jordans, baby. You had some money. I remember back in the day, Jordans was only $100, 105. So if you had $105 pair of shoes, baby, you was doing this like it's my B-day, baby. Doing this like a my B-day. You was popping. So you came on the block with some new J's. Niggas was looking at you like you got money or your mama and them got money because that was hella expensive. And even now today it's still hella expensive. So he was like, I'm gonna handle that shit. That's me. Like, like he that nigga, like he's so hard. So Juke was like, Scrappy, one of your mom's most loyal soldiers. He practically family. Like, think, young nigga, think. So Kanan was like, what you know about my family? And when I was like, what you mean? What she know about your family? Like, y'all cousins, ain't y'all? What the fuck? So at this point, I'm starting to think when he made that comment, Is Jukebox his blood related cousin now that we found out that her mama was a hoe? Maybe the mama was a hoe and ended up getting pregnant and dumped Juke off with Marvin and he just took care of her all this time. Maybe that's why their relationship is so disconnected, because he's not her real biological father. He's just her guardian or some shit. Because that line really can't take it, stuck out to me. So keep that in mind. I'm really wondering now, is he even her real biological father? So she was like, I'm just your family, as much as she was like, she said something to the extent of, I'm your family. It's shit about our family you don't know, secrets you don't want to know. Meaning she knows that night uh D Wiz got in the car with Lou. Like, she trying to tell this nigga in a roundabout way, it's shit about our family that's really fucked up that your ass would not want to know. So Kanan gonna say, what that nigga say? I know your secrets too, so I suggest you watch your fucking mouth. Basically, like, I know you gay and I'll spill your tea if you keep on pressing the issue, which was really fucked up because she was trying to help your black ass. So Juke was like, you think I'm fucking scared of you, nigga? And she was like, fuck you, Kanan, and stormed the fuck off. I really think in a fight she would beat him up. So we then see Rock at the project building telling the owner Darius that she wants that particular apartment that she's in, but it's already occupied. So the tenant ended up coming home, was like, "What the fuck is y'all doing in my place? Like, what the hell is going on?" And I overheard what y'all said. I ain't going nowhere. So then Marvin looked back at Rock like, may I? And so she give him the go ahead. He get the beating the dude ass. She stop him and tell Marvin and the dude Darius to go outside while she talked to the tenant. So she says to him, like, you know this about to be mine. The only question is how you gonna end up in the deal. Basically, like, nigga, just take this money and dip. So Famous follows Juke and invites her to the studio. At first she was hesitant, but then she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. So Marvin and Darius come back into the apartment and Rock says, old boy is moving out and Marvin, you gonna help him. At first he was like, I ain't doing shit. Like, fuck that nigga. Then she gave him this look and he had to remember, like, I ain't running shit. I can't keep on disrespecting her. Let me get back in line. So he was like, all right, but uh Rock says that she needs to start renovating the place. So Marvin was like, when you and Kanan moving in here? She was like, nigga, you out your motherfucking mind. I ain't moving in here. We about to bring the business here, fool. So Marvin was like, why we need two apartments though? So she was like, if the police come through fucking with us, we can just throw the shit down the chute to the apartment below. That way it's a foolproof plan. We never fucking get caught, which is a genius ass idea, as long as they keep the fact that other apartment is theirs a secret and the shit don't get out, which is going to work for a while, but eventually the police is going to catch on that she has that spot down below. But Rock, once again, has a genius ass idea. So she says, while Neek fighting for corners, we in the sky looking down on all these motherfuckers like we got this shit. Like, fuck that. So Kanan goes home to get his gun so he can roll up on Scrap, but before he can reach for the gun, Rock storms into his room and was like, I know shit that you don't like. You need to chill. And Kanan Thompson, why everybody keep telling me what I don't know? Nigga, because you don't know. What the fuck? So he was like, you told me you was gonna show me how this shit worked, but you've been playing with my head. Show me how to cook. So Rock like, oh my God, like this little nigga just keep on pressing the shit. She trying to slow him down before he get in too deep, but he just keep on pressing it. So she was like, you my son for sure. You ain't gonna wait on nobody. I gotta think about this. And Rock was like, I mean, Katie says you can think about it, but I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. Like, period. One way or another, I'm getting put the fuck on. So much like Tasha, she's in between a rock and a hard place where she really like, if I don't teach him, I would rather for me to teach him than for somebody else on the street to teach him, and then he really get fucked up. So she asked why he was running in the house, and he lied and said I was trying to get quarters for the pizza place. And she was like, all right, I'll drop you off there. So Kanan ends up leaving the gun at the crib, which was so smart that he didn't, especially how things end up playing out. Because if he would have had that gun on him when things happened, he would have really been fucked up. So she dropped him off at the pizza place. But of course, he doesn't go in. Little does he know, but Howard and Burke are sitting in the car telling, they were telling Rock, but then at the last minute, Howard decided to follow Kanan because he breaks down the story to Burke about how, like, he is drug royalty. Like his father was up there with Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas, or like he is the next up and coming thing. We got to keep our eye on him. So Kanan finds Scrap and confronts him in front of everybody. And Scrap was like, if you wasn't Rock's son, I would fuck you up. I ain't no snake ass nigga. Like, get the fuck on out my face, little nigga. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Stay in a child's place. So they start fighting. This fight choreography was much better than the first one. I really would have liked to see them give each other some work. But it was a better fight scene. So Howard and Burke end up arresting them, and as they're being arrested, Scrap ends up staring at this dude across the way coming out of the store. And so then we see Poppy at the bodega telling Rock that he want more money. And she checked that nigga like, I ain't giving you shit. And this ain't what you want, playboy. Like, you better stay in your place. So at some point, like I said, Poppy at the Poppy store is going to end up getting killed either by Rock or either by his wife. I really believe it's going to be by his wife, though, because he going to end up beating her ass. And her seeing how much power and strength Rock has is going to finally give her the encouragement to fuck his ass up. So Kanan is at the precinct, him and Scrap, but they're at separate tables. He's at the table with Howard, and he refuses to cooperate. He was like, "I'm gonna wait until my, guardian gets here." So he was like, "Okay, you know a little something, all right, little nigga." So Howard then says, "Me and Rock go way back. She ain't tell you about us." And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. And on episode 1, I said this in my review. Omar F's character, Malcolm, who is a cop, swooped through. Now, it's obvious that the Malcolm's character and Raquel have history. I don't know how they have history, but they have history. And I'm thinking it's through Unique's character, like maybe they're brothers or something like that, but it's obvious they know each other. So, like I said in that review, I thought that their link was going to be tied in by Neek. At first, I thought Howard and Neek might be related, but like you saw me say, they know each other. Like they got history. And in this episode, we find out, just how much history them niggas got. So when he made that comment, like, your mom ain't never told you about me, like I'm somebody of significance, and Kanan was looking at him like, why would she tell me about you? Like, who the fuck are you? Um. So he asks Kanan his age, and Kanan once again refuses to comply. So Howard was like, if you make this harder than it needs to be, I'm gonna take you to a place you don't want to go. So Kanan gives in and tells him that his birthday is August 15th, 1975, which today is August 15th. I wondered did they know they was gonna play out like that. So Kanan's character would have been like 46 years old or something like that today. He was a Leo like me, Leo gang in the building. So as soon as he said that his birthday was August 15th, 1975, Howard was looking like, the fuck? He was like, I thought you were older. And Kanan was like, and why you care? So at that moment, I was like, oh, he your daddy. He your daddy. He's the pappy. I put it 2 and 2 together. Him and Rock was fucking around back in the day. They had a serious relationship. And that's why he made the comment like, your mom ain't never told you about me or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, he your daddy. He is the pappy. So Symphony ends up walking in to get Kanan, and Howard was like, I ain't letting him go because you ain't family. So they end up going back and forth, and Symphony end up checking the shit out of Howard. And I was like, come through, Symphony. Kanan sitting back looking like, oh, Symphony got hurt, my nigga. This nigga got hurt. So Howard eventually ends up letting Kanan leave with Symphony. And as soon as they leave, Scrap is watching the whole thing go down. So they leave, and Howard then runs a check on Rondell Stark, aka Kanan's daddy. And he sees that he was arrested on charges September 14th, 1974. So then at some point when Kanan was there, he had wiped his mouth and blood was on it. So he ended up flicking the napkin on the desk. So Howard looked down at the bloody napkin like, ooh, DNA. I could do a DNA test. Because at this point, it was like, that little nigga couldn't have possibly been Rondell's son. So Symphony walks, where was I at? So Famous in the studio, Juke and Jessica are there. Lou drops in. They over here Crown ain't paying motherfuckers they money, which I wouldn't even want to work for him no way at that point. But Jessica and Famous so pressed to get put on. So Luke pays off the dude bills and says that Juke is gonna sing on Famous song now. At first Crown was like, we need a professional singer. Like, just because you paid off a little something around here don't mean you about to be running nothing. So Jessica was like, maybe we should just let him do what he do. And I'm like, girl, shut your ass up, your puss ass, your suck up ass. And Lou even like gave this look like this bitch right here. I'm like, why are you fucking with her? Like, what is so special about her? Ugh, don't like her at all. So he ended up talking uh Jukebox into going ahead and singing or whatever. So then we see Kanan and Symphony in the car, and Kanan asked Symphony not to tell his mama that he got arrested. Symphony was like, I can't get in between you and your mom. Kanan said, she'll pull me from class. Like, you don't know how hard she go. He was like, when she burns shit down, she burns shit down. So Symphony feel bad. He was like, if she asks, I won't lie. Like, period. I'm not trying to fuck up this shit with your mama. Like, are we cool? So he was like, why you call me instead of your uncles anyway? And he was like, I couldn't reach him or whatever. And you could tell like that kind of touched Symphony, because it's like this dude ain't even got really no male figure in his life. So Juke killing in the booth, she killing the hook. Scrap is walking home when Rock pulls up on him, and he was like, look, Kanan rolled up on me talking shit, fronting on me in front of everybody. I couldn't let that shit rock. Like, I got a reputation to protect. So she was like, get in the car. So once again, Kanan dumbass had been found out. So Juke and fake ass Madonna making out in the bed while listening to the song that she cut. Her mama end up walking in on them and freaks the fuck out because of course Jukebox was on top of the little white girl kissing her or whatever. Not the mama not knowing that her little freak ass hoe ass daughter is the one that is the top originally. So the mama get to freaking out, calling Jukebox repelling and disgusting, and saying if she ever comes back over there again, she's gonna file rape charges on her. Juke is startled or whatever because she thought that these people actually fucked with her and liked her. Little Cindy Lauper sitting up there crying. So I'm mom, it's not her fault. Juke end up leaving all shaken up. And I was like, girl, we tried to tell you. You can't trust these white folks. So Rock in the kitchen with Kanan, about to teach him how to cook up some dough. So she was like, this might be the stupidest shit I've ever done, but if something ever happens to me, I need to know you'll be good. Um, and she get to teaching him basically the crack command that she was like, you never cook where you eat, this, that, and the third. So then we see Scrap is escorted into Neek's spot by the dude he saw at the corner store. He pretends that he about to switch sides because Rock putting Kanan over him, and he been in the, showing and proving himself over 5 years, and he being slept on. It's all a setup so he could be an implant so he can know what Neek and them is doing, and go back and tell Rock. And like Rock said to him in the episode, you will never see me coming. And it was true. So Neek ends up falling for it because he heard about the fight between Scrap and Kanan. So Neek was looking good too, by the way. That outfit, he had almost everything, and I just wanted to sit on his penis. But anywho, so then Black Sheep gets the plan. Who's the Black Sheep? Where's the Black Sheep? And it just took me back to that time, and I love that song. You can get with this, or you can get with that. Anywho, so Black Sheep starts playing as Kanan is learning how to cook up crack. Marvin is at the apartment renovating it for this, new stash spot. Lou fucking the shit out of Jessica, looking at her with love in his eyes. And I was like, nigga, you're supposed to fuck these hoes with your eyes closed. You can't be falling for these hoes. This bitch is a hoe. So then we see Juke walking home, all shaking the fuck up, realizing, oh my God, like, my life is fucked up right about now. And then we see Scrap being welcomed into Neek's family. So he then looks at their little bulletin board of all the shit they got going on. Rock takes out the trash that night, and Howard walks up on her and starts questioning her about Kanan's age. He was like, I thought he was 16. I questioned you about it back in the day. One time I saw you pushing him in a stroller because I always wondered. And she was like, you stay the fuck away from Kanan. And he was like, Def Con, meaning Rondell, can't be Kanan's daddy. You hid this shit. Kanan is my son. And he walks off, and Rock is just standing there. So at some point, it's going to come out that Kanan is his son, and that bone marrow transplant that he needs, he's going to end up asking Kanan to help him. I don't know if Kanan is going to help him or not, but he's the daddy. Obviously, Raquel knew that Howard was Kanan's daddy, but instead of fessing up for the truth, it would have been better for her, for the streets, to play it off like Rondell was his daddy. For the street cred, and for the connects and everything, so she could take over. Another chess move, like Marvin said, she got secrets or whatever. So I'm wondering, do the brothers even know the truth that Howard is Kanan's daddy? I don't think they even know. I don't even think they know that Howard is Kanan's father and Rondell isn't. She used Rondell's name to for protection, and like I said, to get put on in the game and to be able to take over for him. So I'm wondering, are we ever going to see Rondell in jail? Is that ever going to play out? Is he dead? Who knows? But I can't wait to see how this whole thing is going to play out, and if it's going to end up getting out in the streets that Kanan isn't really Rondell's son. So we got a lot to play with. I really do believe that Davina is going to end up being Kanan's like first body, because remember, him and D Wiz was shooting that buck at the same time, so neither of them really knew who killed him. But I really think once he finds out that Davina is an op, and then she snitched on him, she's gonna be his first body. So my um murder count, I think, is going to be Davina's going to die this season. I still think Scrap gonna end up dying at some point because he's gonna get found out. The man at the bodega gonna end up getting killed. Famous is gonna end up being killed. Is that it? Yeah. Jessica gonna end up fucking Lou over. He probably end up killing her ass. But I hope that they don't do that, because it's very reminiscent of Tommy and old girl. So I don't really want them to redo that again. But this is Power, so you just never know what they asses. But overall, I give episode 5 back. In the other episode, I mean, the other Power series, episode 5 would really be that episode that really ramps things up. This episode did that, but in a milder way. Like, big things were revealed in this episode, but we really didn't get that bang bang shoot 'em up shit. So I guess we'll probably get that episode 9 and 10 or whatever. I really like the writing on this show. I appreciate the writing on this show better than the writing on the later half of Power and Ghost. The writing is a lot better, and I think that is because 50 Cent had a bigger hand in this show. The writing on this show makes more sense to me. Um, but I want there to be a little bit more action. That's the only complaint that I would have so far with this show, is that there needs to be a little bit more action. I think the costuming is great, the locations, the acting, the actors, all of that stuff, the storylines are good, but it just needs to be ramped up a little bit more. If we have more action in there, I think it'll be great. And I want, even though Rock and Symphony have a little love story there, I really can't connect to it for real, because all we've really seen from them is fucking. I really want to see a real, true love story there, like between two people, like an actual love story that you see blossom and grow. I wish that we had that in this show. But other than that, yeah, those are my only complaints. I give episode 5 of Raising Kanan a B+. It was good. It was good. A lot of things were revealed, like I said. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about tonight's episode down below in the comments section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Also, remember to subscribe to my backup channel. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.